Good morning, everyone, or good afternoon. Why did I say good morning? Anyways, good morning.
Again?
Again.
All right, so let's start over.
Good day, everyone, and welcome to the show. What's happening, everyone? We got Missouri, New York, Indiana, David, Fro, Michigan.
Good night, everyone.
Colorado, Vancouver.
Oh, Vancouver.
How's everybody doing? NC, North Carolina. What's up? Haha, Jody's in the house. Massachusetts. I see a pony in the background. You do see a pony, and it's not mine because I do not have purple stripes. Chicago.
Clear water. How isn't clear water the weather?
It's wonderful.
It is?
Yeah. Toronto.
Bill.
David.
Bill.
Oh, it's Bill Freeman. What is up, Mr. Freeman? Indianapolis. Did you get my package?
That's a bunny in the background. That's right.
We did get a package. Which package?
Who?
Because we got a package today of cookies for
Did you
Jeff.
get my package?
Fort Myers.
Oh, maybe that was Fro send it to
That'd be
Jeff.
funny. PA's in the house. Colorado. Daytona Thunder. Hey, from Ohio.
Hey.
New England. No need to lie, Dean.
No need.
We know it's yours. I mean, I'm not opposed to purple stripes. I mean,
I love it.
I got nothing wrong with that.
I would love to like wrap my car in purple.
I'm a big fan of it, but I can tell you right now, this.
Yeah.
I hate this. This is the one thing I still have on my car that need to come off. Is those stupid logos. Elias,
hey, Bobby.
What's up, Bobby?
Hey, Elias.
Wait a minute. Hold on. Why are we? Josh. We're wonderful. How are you? I mean, that's a good way to get our attention.
Yeah, that was good. That was good.
I hope you're doing well.
Cheers, buddy.
Alabama.
Oh,
Okay, in the house. Oklahoma. Is that a girl's car? It is very much a girl's car. This is her second appointment. She had us put in, we put up a picture a while ago of the Kenwood 10-inch in the dash of a Mustang. Mm-hmm. This is hers. This was the car. And she's brought it in now for us to finish up. So she's going with the full flax system.
Elias said the Mustangs are cool because he has one.
He has a Mustang, yeah. His is fast.
Oh, is your buddy? No, you're a Mustang.
No, mine is slow. San Diego.
Troy.
Mopar or no car? I
prefer a car. It doesn't matter.
I drove a Ram for a long time.
Yeah.
Does that count? I had 3 Rams. San Diego.
It doesn't count.
I don't know. It might not. Mustangs are cool. Okay, so keep shouting us out, Louisiana. And okay, been a minute. Still need to stop by and get some. Okay.
Yep.
No problem, Josh.
Yep. Louisiana in the house.
All right. So welcome to the show, everyone. And it has been a fun day for sure. Let's just get started, shall we? All right. First thing up, Facebook. So for those of you guys that don't know, we are the guys that started the 12 Volt Clean Wire Club over on Facebook. Every week we pick the person, Fernando picks the person that thought had the clean wire of the week, and they get the cool top spot. This week is who, Fernando?
Mr. Eduardo.
Eduardo, all right, so everyone just kind of cocked their head sideways. Eduardo did a wonderful job here. You can see his little ferrule bin there in the background. I like this. Like, I really digging the way he mounted these amplifiers like that. Mm-hmm. I don't know why, but when I saw that, I was like, I like that. I want to do that at some point.
Yeah, that's neat. That's neat,
yeah.
Definitely. I had to flip the image because, like...
To make it fit?
To make it fit so you guys can see it. But I like it. That was pretty neat. So he does really cool work all the time. So Eduardo, yep, that's him, Bill.
Congratulations.
That's him.
So Eduardo, you did a wonderful job, and of course Bill's excited because it's Rockford. Why not, right?
Happy
all
Monday.
right. With that being said, of course, at the 20-minute mark, we're going to be talking about amplifier classes, and then we have a cool thing at the 40-minute mark as well. And since we're at the beginning of the show, real quick, don't forget tomorrow at 6:30, this same time tomorrow over on YouTube, we will have dash cams. Everything you need to know about dash cams. We'll have our special guest, Seth Hofstetter from JVC Kenwood Corp. And we will be talking about everything We got videos, we got live action, we got new products. We are getting a brand new released product. They're going to tell us new stuff that doesn't even exist yet. There's no press, there's no nothing. We get to be the guys that drop this cool information that's coming out. We're super excited about it. Now, we also are going to get him on next month, sometime either June or early July, to do just a Kenwood JVC Q&A show. So I know a lot of you guys were like, oh, I'd really like to ask. Not tomorrow, please. Save that. We're going to get him back on in a month to where we're going to just do a Kenwood JVC Q&A show. We talked about it. I think we're going to have maybe some other products that are going to be the spotlight. Yep. So we are going to do that with them. But tomorrow we really want to focus on dash cams because for me it's something that I'm really interested in. But with that being said, let's get on with the questions. Giving away a dash cam? I don't know if we're going to give one away or not. We'll see. Amplifier classes, let's debate. Let's not debate. Let's just take a look at what we got and we'll go from there. Can Kenwood Exelon C9 or 69C mid fit a 2018 Tundra? Yes, if you're looking at the 2-inch. The 2-inch will fit the Tundra. Right? It's not the 3.5. The 2-inch will fit. Yeah. The 2.5 will fit up into the dash of the
Tundra. Yeah, the 3.5 you gotta cut a little bit
You'd
more.
have to cut a lot. But
a lot.
You'd have to cut a lot. But the 2.5 6x9 sounds wonderful. Any tips and tricks for noobs setting up and tuning an Audison Bit 1? Sell it and buy something else. No, I skipped over the whole Bit 1 thing. It really wasn't anything that I enjoyed doing, so I moved right past it and just leapfrogged that product. The whole Bit 1, the Bit 10, never really got into it. I like the new stuff better. But I understand. You can get those pretty reasonably priced. Although I will say is just make sure it's all up to date. And then go from there. Dino the Rockford PBR4 channel. We do have one, and yes, we would love to do that. Did Jeff Miss finish the bag of cookies? No, but he didn't share them. Dude, he didn't even offer. Like, he took that bag of cookies and was like, these are mine. And like he bogarted them the whole.
I mean, technically that was.
Yeah. He didn't even offer. Anyone come up with a mod to remote mount the Kenwood 10-inch? Not yet. Not that we've seen.
All right, 2021 GMC Arcadia. Have you guys ever removed the doors to run new speaker wires? I'm having trouble getting access to the plug mounted on the car.
No, we haven't removed that one, but I could see where removing the door panel is kind of the trick. What I would suggest doing if you do decide to do it, because like we've done it on other vehicles, not that one, is have something at the same height or just a little lower than the door itself. Obviously have a friend
totally.
surround the area you're going to be taking the door off with those cool blankets or a comforter or something. Once you get those two bolts off, you gotta lift it up a little bit and then just move it away off to the side. Preparation for removing the door panel is key anytime you have to pull the door panel off. But yeah, unfortunately in some of these vehicles, it's if you're going to be running wires in the door for whatever reason, you gotta take them off.
Alright, so I'm planning a full system and phases, right? Amplifier, speakers, head unit, DSP. What order do you suggest? Well, like for example, which one will be first?
Man, that's always tough. But in the past, you'd say obviously get the source unit first. Yeah. But if you're keeping the factory radio, then it becomes kind of difficult. So I would probably say if I had to keep the factory radio, I would buy whatever integration I need to buy first.
That's not fun.
You're asking. There's no fun way to do it. I mean, I would buy. So ideally, add the subwoofer first because everybody wants bass. All right, so everyone wants to add the subwoofer first.
I agree.
Yeah, add the subwoofer first. Okay. Then I'd buy my DSP and my highs amp, or my DSP highs amp, whichever one I'm buying. If I'm going to buy something all in one, I'd buy that, and then I'd install that. And then I probably wouldn't do much tune. I would just buy it and run the factory speakers off of it, and then I'd replace all my speakers and go from there.
Okay. I would do the subwoofer and then the radio.
The radio?
Yeah.
If we're doing a new radio, that's first. The new radio is always first.
Okay.
You know, if you're planning on upgrading the radio, that's first, because everything else, there's no reason to install a subwoofer high level. That's just dumb. It's dumb because you're gonna have bass roll off. It's not gonna sound as good.
What car?
I don't know.
Exactly.
I'm just saying.
But still, but you can do your subwoofer, run your RCAs all the way to the front, because at some point you're gonna do the radio, just to have sound.
I would do the. Forget that. Do the radio first. But anyways, there you go. Two perspectives. Yeah. Moving on.
All right.
If you never plan on running rear speakers, would you still suggest buying a 4-channel amp over a 2-channel? Well, I would buy a 4-channel amp just so I could run my front stage full active.
Yeah.
So if I was going to do a set of components up front, then I would go full active with the front stage. That makes more sense to me. For example, if you guys saw the Toyota we had on Instagram today, he had a 5-channel JL 900.5 in there running front rear sub. And he had a 3-way set up front, and it was just kind of like, well, this is kind of boring. So we took the front set, we took the fronts, and with the Sonys, alright, so it had Sony 3-way set. The Sonys allow you to buy amp into the crossovers. Channel 1 and 2 are on the mid, or the front channels can be on the mid and tweet, the rear channels can be on the mid bass. So we took that whole 905, with the exception of the sub portion, and put all 4 channels just on the front stage, because the passive crossovers allowed us to do that. It sounded fabulous.
Yes, Jason, power. He get the package.
Okay, Fro, so that was from you. Yes, Jason. He came by. Check out Instagram. He's on there, and he's funny. So I'll let him know it's from you. Is Fernando's Mustang with pink racing stripes? Johnny,
I'm not a Mustang guy.
That's harsh, man. Yeah.
Hey, I would paint my car pink.
You would?
Pink, yeah.
Really? Ugh.
Oh yeah. Why not? It's a color.
I mean,
totally.
Whatever works.
All right.
That didn't go well.
No. Can the add-on XM tuners be added to the white box radios? I did an Infinity FX install. Customer supplied the radio. He want XM radio and brought it to me. Oh, I think you gotta check if the radio is compatible with the XM radio tuner, because some radios they don't have that.
Yeah.
So
you just have to see if it's compatible with the SVX.
If it is, tuner. Yeah, no problem.
Oh, I totally missed.
What? Oh.
The cup. Victor, what's
3
up?
times.
No, the cars y'all left. Is that not a Mustang? This is a Mustang.
Yeah.
This is a Mustang. However, he drives a G35. I drive a black Mustang.
Yeah.
This is a gray. I like this gray though. Okay. I wish they would have had that.
I like how it is.
I got a deal on the black one. If you use a D1300 and use an ACM 2.300, can you control time alignment and EQ from the D1300? Actually, yes. The D5-1300 has a RCA preamp output. What that's for is that extra channel, so you can run. Let's say you get the 2-channel ACM, so it's 150 by 2. And you'd run channel 1 and 2 to tweeters, 3 and 4 to rear, 5 to the sub, and then that extra output, 7 and 8, would be for that 2.300 EQ, time aligned, whatever you want to do with that extra channel is totally, it all works through the same software. If you want to see it in use or play with it, you can download the software at audiocontrol.com and onto a Windows or Mac, and do whatever you want and have full fun, and you can see how that all works. Hang on. I know you're looking. All right, hold on. Go ahead. Ask a question while I load that up.
All right. So next, say any harm in putting Y splitters of the front channel output on the NAV TV M650 GM to run front signal to two amplifiers, one bridge to running the mid bass and the other one running front tweeters and rear fill.
So the Nav TV piece has 12 channels of output, and the first 6 channels are identical to one another. So 1, 3, 5 and 2, 4, 6 are exact clones of one another. So there is 3 RCAs for left, 3 RCAs for white. You can do whatever you want with them. They're exactly the same. They do exactly the same. You can go into the programming and turn on and off chimes on each one if you want. But no, you can run Y. If in your mind it's easier to run Y jacks to do specific things, like for example, what I think you're talking about, it's perfectly fine. But just know that those outputs are there for you also to do that. Let's head over to the laptop for a quick second. Fortunately, the audio control is Mac compatible. That is what we use. This is, even though it says DM810, this is for the 5-1300. So if we go to output view here, this line output is the one we were questioning about. If we wanted to use it as the mid bass, we would feed it and we could call it mid bass. You could just click on it, call it mid bass, mid bass. Okay. It's so channel 1 and 2 could be tweeter, 3 and 4 could be rear, 5 and 6 would be your subwoofer output from your radio if you have it. Otherwise, if it's not, it could just be 1 and 2. You could turn off anything you want. Select this, could be 1 and 2. And now when you're setting up your crossovers, you can adjust it any way you want. So if you want to make that the mid bass, come over here, select whatever frequency, and then you can adjust time alignment. It really just comes down to you knowing that that is the mid bass output, and that's why labeling it makes it so much easier. If you want to make a left and right EQ on it, just come down here and select 8, and you'll notice that just split the two apart. So now you have a left and right EQ.
All right. How did you run all the speakers in the Forerunner video on a 4-channel amplifier?
How did you? Well, it's just front and rear. So I mean, the rear 6 speakers are actually in series. I'm sorry, the rear 4 speakers are in series from the factory. There's a pass-through on them, so the rear speakers are that. Are we talking about the one today? If we're talking about the one today, we didn't run all the speakers off of the 4-channel amplifier. We just ran the front stage off of the 4-channel amplifier. The rear was coming off of the rear of the radio. What we did in order for that to happen was, it was a Kenwood aftermarket radio that has the time alignment feature built into it. If you go into that, you have level control built in. Select the lowest input, meaning you can turn those inputs down. We turned them down to -8. The reason why we did that is because when adjusting the volume, the preamp section will distort here on the volume. So let's say 40. Well, actually, it plays all the way up clean, 40. The amplifier is going to distort way sooner. So if we take and we adjust the rear gain amplifier down, then they'll both move up in parallel, and we'll have that full 15 watts at the same volume as the preamp section. So it's a trick that it seems way too easy to do, but if you want to use your deck power to control another speaker, you just have to go in and turn the levels down so that they're clipping at the same point as your preamp. You can also do that with your fader. It's a little bit harder, but you can also do it there too. The problem is when you are working with, I mean, you can even do it with your front stage if you want, but the rear to me is just fill, and it's not like, we're not doing critical listening. When you do it on the front, it just sucks. You know, because you're always doing it on like a 3.5, which is a mid-range, which plays most of the frequencies that you're listening to, and it's like, it just falls apart. So we'll never do it on the front, but for a rear fill, yeah, we're good.
Alright, Ampro doesn't make anything for the 2021 Subaru Impreza. Any thoughts?
Check iData, because I know iData just released a new
something for
Subaru, and if it's not, it's coming here soon. So check iData, and you can always use the DSR1 as your preamp. It's about the same amount of money as an Amp Pro when you combine the two together. But I would see what iData has, and if you don't know what the iData website is, hold on. Let me find that page. Where did it go? What did I do? Oh, you know what? Hold on, let me shut this DSP down before my computer battery goes dead. There it is. So here is the page. Ready, everyone? Take a screenshot. So myshow.idatalink.com. You can go there and you can check it out. Bobby's in the house. What's up, man? Mr. Pert. Okay. So just go there and you can find all the information that you're looking for and see if they make one that is compatible for you.
All right.
Thank you, Stefan.
Strictly speaking,
Yes.
bass, right? Punchiness and boom. What do you prefer in a crew cab new model Chevy Silverado? 110 P2 Rockford sub or 2.8 P2s?
I'm a tens guy.
I know about the movement and the 10s for the single sub against the 16 inches from there. So which one you?
I like the tens.
Yeah, 110.
I like
It's just 110 or 2.8s.
2.8s. I mean, if I gotta choose that, I'm gonna go 2.8s.
Yeah.
I want the 2.8s then.
Yeah.
I mean, I want 2.10s. I'm not gonna. I mean, to me, it's like I either do 2.10s or I go home. I mean, 4.8s would be really nice.
All right, yeah.
But I mean, if those are my choices, 110 or 2.8s,
yeah,
I'm gonna go 2.8s.
Yeah.
Is it okay to use the LC2i for a 5-channel amp, even though the LC2i has a main RC output? With using a Y splitter, will this still work just fine? Yes, yes, it will. So I know you're going, why would anybody do that? If you're only tapping into 2 speakers to get all the audio for your sound, so like say for example you're doing an older Chevy, and we would just tap into the rear speakers, and LC2i would do the job if you don't want like level controls and whatnot. LC2i, LC2i Pro all have a line output and then a one for bass roll off, the bass output. So yeah, you could do that. I would also, some of the amplifiers, it probably doesn't, because that's like a really obscure feature. Some amplifiers give you the ability to just run one set of inputs for that, but usually that bypasses the sub. So never mind that. Just run some Y-jacks. You're all
what speakers do you recommend for a 1990 C1500 Silverado single cab?
Jesus.
You don't think the Morel
Shallow
Carbon
mode?
Nanos? Yeah.
I mean, that wouldn't be a bad idea. Check out Morel. Head over to morelhifi.com and check out the Virtus Carbon Nanos, 6.5s. They are probably what you're going to be looking for. Take a question.
All right. Do you recommend the JBL DSP 4086 for a factory integration, or I am better off with the Fix 86 in an amplifier?
These are the Morels here.
Yes, they are the new ones.
They're super thin.
They're super nice.
All right, what's the answer to the question?
I would go with the DSP, JBL DSP.
Over Fix?
Over the Fix 86 in an amplifier. I mean, it's just right there. This is small.
Well, okay, so there's a Fix and there's a Tweak. The Fix is designed to flatten out a signal and not actually give you... Oh, that truck has a 4x6 in the dash. Okay, no problem. Hold on. I don't know. I mean, when's the last time I worked on one of those? I would make kick panels and put these in them. I mean, if we're gonna go that far. All right, hold on. We'll get back to that question.
All right.
Oh, it was Jeff. It was Fro's house on here that gave you the cookies.
Yep.
So Jason from
Stereo Kings, Oregon.
In Oregon gave you the cookies.
Yeah.
My cookies.
Did they make 4x6s?
They don't make a 4x6. However, they do make a
4-inch.
A 4-inch.
Yeah.
Hold on.
Huh.
So, oh, it never came out. I thought they were gonna do that. Shucks, golly gee. You know, so the last time we had to do a set of 4-inch 4x6s, we didn't do the 4x6s. We actually did these. Hold on. We went with a set of these.
Alright, we actually got carryover.
We got what?
Carryover with the time.
We got carried over with time. Alright, so we'll do that and then we'll get the... So, Morel makes the hybrid Integras, which the 402, which is this guy right here. This is, I mean, if you're looking for a super high-end 4-inch, this is the guy to go with. It is a biampable 4-inch. Little tiny guy right here. This is the 6.5, but if you keep scrolling through, you'll find the 4-inch. We did these in and then we just made a 4x6 bracket for it. So if you just need a really high-end 4x6 for a decent amount of money, check out the Rockford Fosgate Punch series. I'm sorry, T1s? Did they make the T1s?
Punch.
It's either Punch. Check out the Punch 4x6s.
Yeah, Punch.
Those are pretty nice. They give you a lot of sound for reasonable price.
If you're not KS kicker,
we'll come back to that JBL tweak question, but
yes.
let's get to this real quick because it's time again for Fundamentals of Car Audio, brought to you by DNF Tool Drawer, the place you can go and find all the cool tools that we use for installation. And that's right, it's Fundamentals. All right, let me launch this.
Gerardo, yes, we are going.
All right, so the idea behind this is someone asked last week if we could briefly, like, what is the difference between this and that, all right? And so this is going to be the basic differences between the types of amplifier classes, all right? Now, a lot of people don't understand A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H. There is an amplifier in each one of those. However, what you have to keep in mind is that they're not all for audio. There are many types of amplifiers and classes. They range from A to H and every letter in between. When a class is created, it uses a new letter available. It uses the next letter available. We're on H. A few misconceptions. Class A is just the first type of amplifier. It is not the best. A lot of people will argue that point, but it's just something to keep in mind. Class D was just the next class. It does not mean digital. Most common amplifier classes in car audio is A, B, D, G, and H. Rockford, they have all their own, so we won't even get involved with those. A Class A, very inefficient. It keeps all the output devices on all the time.
Change your screen, I'm sorry.
Oh, sorry, my bad. I meant to do that.
Hey.
I meant to go there. Sorry, guys. It keeps all the output devices on all the time, meaning that if it draws 30 amps, it will always draw 30 amps. It never doesn't. It's always on. It's always on 100%. It is known for running very hot. It's sometimes called a room heater. It is also a very clean amplifier with no distortion at the crossover point. Now, we're going to stop right here for a second because I have to explain what the crossover point is. That green arrow there that says crossover point. That is the actual crossover point in audio. What is on your amplifier that you often refer to as a high-pass, low-pass crossover is actually a high-pass, low-pass filter. When you talk to an engineer that designs amplifiers and you refer to the crossover, he's assuming that you're talking about where your positive wave and negative wave cross over the zero line, not the filter. So for the rest of this, we'll be referring to the crossover point as where the positive and negative wave cross over the 0 point. All right. So that's what that little thing there says. All right. They also need a large heat sink per watt. So typically your Class A amplifiers are going to be rather big and bulky and heavy and hot. That's why we don't use them that often in car audio anymore. Class AB. There was a Class B. However, it did not sound very good. There is distortion at the crossover point. It was more efficient than a Class A because the output devices would turn on and off. The problem was no overlap at the crossover point. A Class AB fixes that with crossover bias. This kept the positive and negative output devices on for a small amount above and below the crossover point. This fixed the sound of the amplifier. So what you're seeing in the image there is that you have the red positive and the blue negative and the zero line down the center, and you see them, they stay on for just a second. Or not really a second, just a tad. We'll call it a tad because we don't want to refer to it as time. And this would fix the problem with the Class B. And because the output devices turn on and off, that makes the amplifier obviously more efficient than a Class A amplifier. In our world, the next thing is Class D. This class of amp was a big improvement in efficiency by using pulse width modulation. It breaks the signal into smaller pulses to create the single wave, and that's what this diagram is showing there. This is also the one trait that gives it a bad rap. The complaint is this does not sound natural and or as clean as Class AB. Class D has come a long way over the years, and now with higher end versions, telling the difference might not be easy. I put that might not in there because some of you guys will be like, oh, I can tell. Good on you. They typically have a smaller heatsink than Class AB. As you can see, what is happening is A, B, D. Next up is a new category of amplifiers, Class G, Class H. This type of amplifier is based off another class of amplifier, meaning this wouldn't exist without Class AB. It claims to be more efficient than Class AB, and depending on how it is used, can be. It uses a dual power supply, one low and one high. The lower output is used the low power supply to create sound using less power. When the sound becomes more dynamic, it switches to the higher power supply. If using the high power supply, the efficiency becomes that of a regular Class B amplifier. In the diagram down below, you see the HPV, DD, LV, which is low, and then the HV, which is high. At normal listening levels, it's going to use that low power output, power supply. As soon as you crank that thing up, it's going to boost the rails back out and give you full power. That's how it's more efficient. They're still smaller heat sinks. This amp is, so the Class H is also known as a rail tracker, and actually very similar to a Class G. Similar but not the same. The end result is the same. How they achieve it is a little bit different because it's riding the rails as opposed to the power supplies. Most of these two amplifiers will be grouped together. There are only slight differences between the two designs. They typically have a smaller heatsink than Class AB. I know, right? And there you go. And that's the end of that. Now we all know. Okay.
All right.
So that's what we have. So those are your basic types of amplifier classes, and very, very generically explained to you. Obviously, looking at like the G and H amplifiers, which are some of the newer amplifiers, you could still call it an AB class amplifier, but it's using that dual power supply action, so it's smaller, more efficient, and can take the place of the hate that people have for the Class D.
All right. I'm trying to find the JBL. So, would you use the JBL for a factory upgrade?
All right. So the difference between it was the fix and the JBL
and an amplifier. So a fix and an amplifier, or the JBL DSP.
So the fix is designed. It's called the fix for a reason because it's designed to fix the signal. It has very limited equalization capability. And if you put it in an amplifier, it's designed to be combined with the tweak, which is the actual DSP portion of it. So if you're going for DSP, then I would go with the JBL.
Right.
The JBL doesn't have the fixed features, but depending on the system you're putting in, you might not need them. And the basic EQ that's in the JBL could fix the problem you're looking at.
Right.
So
everything depends on the car that you have right now.
They didn't, Robert, so that's the thing. They didn't skip over any of the letters. There is a Class B amplifier, which we talked about. The Class C amplifier is not for audio. It actually has to do, in Class D, it has nothing to do with audio either. C is actually for, they're confusing, it's a CMOS sensor, so it's for a camera. I don't remember what Class D was used for, but all of the letters are there. It's just they're not the ones we deal with. So an amplifier is still a thing, amplifying. We just assume that all of them have to be in audio, and that's a bad assumption. So
the E was for empty? No.
E is for another. Why didn't they? Okay, yeah, I guess. The other letters, I bet, were used for prototypes that didn't end up getting used. No, they did. They just, I didn't want to dig into all the stuff that we didn't end up using, so it just kind of. As far as the Museway goes, I've never used one. I have the brochure. I read through it. They look very interesting. But
some of these people
I
that
haven't
use
had a
it,
chance to do anything with one yet. I have a 2011 Dodge Ram with
one.
stock crap radio. I'm looking for a deck. In the meantime, are you still recommending the Kenwoods for the dash, and will it work on stock? Yes, and yes. Those we are still recommending for that. Love those speakers in that car, and it'll work in the dash, and everything will be fine. As far as radio goes, take your pick. Shallow chassis. Yes, actually, it's funny. That's here's some light reading. The Wikipedia entry there in power amplifier classes. That's where a lot of the information came from. I mean, I just did research. I mean, anyone can do it. I just scale it down and make it entertaining. Actually, that was one of the more difficult ones because I needed to trim out a lot of the nonsense. Hey, I got the new Jensen 1200 watt smart amp. Does the Bluetooth have to be on when you start up?
When you start her up?
I mean, if it's a smart amp and you're trying to program it, I would assume. I honestly have no idea, Russell. Sorry, man.
Alright, I have this one.
Yep.
I have a DM608 full active and a 2012 Kia Optima RF. Rockford T2's components in the front, 3.5 punch in the dash, and Punch Pro 6.5 in the rear, with an aftermarket radio. When I'm setting crossovers and tuning the speakers, they all seem to sound too much better on a 12 dB rather than the 24 dB. 24 speakers sound really muddy. Okay.
I don't know why it would sound muddy. It's not. That doesn't even make any sense. Point. It's just a crossover point. It's your 12 dB down point. It's not going to affect the way.
No.
No. I mean, it's not going to. It's just a limiter. I mean, you can run your crossover points at 24 or 12. That's entirely up to you, and depending on how your structure is going, you may have a problem between where the two are crossing over, meaning the frequencies that you're choosing. It may not be the processor that's causing the issue. It may just be the frequency choices you've made are having issues with the other speakers in the car and causing that problem. And when you switch it to 12 dB, it's negating those problems. The whole idea behind the crossover, which we did this on here. I know I need to put them up so you guys can look at it. Is whatever your crossover point is. Let's say you pick 80. It's 12 dB volume at the next octave. So at 40, you're going to have 12 dB less volume at 40. If it's a 24 dB, you're going to have 24 dB less volume at 40. So really, where the crossover point is happening, see, that I don't know why it would be considered muddy unless you're having some frequency phasing issues happening because of the crossover points you're picking. If it sounds better at 12 dB, as long as you've picked the right frequency for it to roll off 12 dB, there's no reason not to use it. There's no law that says you can't use it. If it's 24 is making the system sound worse, then don't use it. Use what makes it sound better. As long as your speakers are protected in the end, that's all that matters.
Bye, Victor. Thank you, man.
Have a nice night, Victor.
Focal flags two-way components. Can I run those with an LC 4.800?
I'm sorry, what?
Oh, hang on.
I totally wasn't listening.
All right, focal flags two-way components. Can I run those with an LC 4.800?
LC 4.800 focal flag components?
Yeah.
Yeah, we do it all the time. Yeah, no problem there. Hey, from Sound Effects, what's up, Gary? How's it going? I didn't know if maybe the audio control amps were giving an extra 12V drop off, maybe. No, it's just 12 or 24, the Linkwix Riley.
Alright, I need help choosing a DSP. My head unit has 6-channel RCA outputs. Should I take 6 to 8, or can I take 4 to 8?
That's a wonderful question. Okay, let's figure this out for a second. 4 to 8, 6 to 8. Depends on what you want to do. So, if your factory radio has the subwoofer volume, if your aftermarket radio has the subwoofer volume control and you want to use the one in the radio, well then having a 6 to 8 would give you the ability to do that. But you could also do it with a 4 to 8 if you don't want fader control. Now, if you want fader control and you're going to let the subwoofer control be done from the amplifier, well then 4 to 8 would work. So it's just a matter of what kind of control you want between the radio and the sound system. If you want fader, 4 to 8. If you want fader and subwoofer level control, then you want 6-channel, so you can do fader and subwoofer. If you want subwoofer and don't care about fader, you can do a 4-channel, because then you have highs or front, and you can off that off to however you want, and then you have subwoofer level control from the radio.
My battery is dead.
Battery's dead. That's okay. We just hold it up.
That's fine.
All right.
All right.
So we're trying to get back on track here. I know we just did this, but hey, it's time for Spotlight time. Spotlight on cool products. That's right. And today we have a cool product, and that is the new JVC dash cam. What is the KVDR305W? This guy here is a nice simple add-on dash cam, very high quality. It's got a touchscreen on the back and 920 output. It is a 2.7-inch screen, GPS trackable, and it's super easy to install. This is made to just stick to your window, and it comes with a cigarette lighter that you can just plug in and call it a day. Now, if you'd like to learn more about dash cams, or anything dash cam related, or helmet cams, or trail cams, or anything like that, make sure to tune in tomorrow at 6:30 Eastern Standard Time over on YouTube 5-Star Car Stereo page. Yep. We'll have Seth Hostetter here to illuminate us on all things dash cam related, along with telling us more about these JVC dash cams, and of course the full line of Kenwood dash cams too. So it's going to be a fun show. I can't wait. No, there is no monthly fee with the cams. The GPS doesn't cost you anything. Just put the SD card in the side, download the software to your laptop, and you're good to go.
Yeah. All right.
Have you ever had a listen to an Alpine DD liner, thinking of making 3-way set, both sets? Thoughts? No, but I think if it's the X series, I know that in Alpine's Dodge Ram, they have a set of tweeters, 5 1/4, 6.5 inch, 6x9 inch mid bass in the door. That sounded pretty nice. I don't know what the DD liners are though, so I don't know. Okay, power capacitors are a bad idea because the voltage meter will kill your battery when it sits for a few days. I wouldn't doubt it. I wouldn't doubt that. What would you professionally recommend for a 2019 Tacoma? I mean, really? Everything? Nothing at all? I don't know. That's a 2019 Tacoma. Start with the radio. Get rid of that thing, because that sucks in that car.
Are you still planning the Morel's amplifiers on the Mustang?
No.
No?
No. Well, okay, take that back. Morel has new amplifiers coming out. If those amplifiers come out and they're what I think they're going to be, I might do those.
There you go.
But I haven't decided yet on anything.
And no, I haven't put the uranium amplifier yet. It's coming.
Last week sucked for us. We were supposed to do it last week, and then we had something that happened here that we needed to put our attention to, and that took 3 nights away from what we would normally have done it with. this week, because we have Seth coming in, and then I told Sue that I'd do something for her on Wednesday night that I totally forgot about. This week is out of the question. So we're falling drastically behind here as usual, but I would expect nothing less from us. So,
hey
someone
guys,
has a thesis amp on eBay for $10K. I wouldn't be surprised.
Really?
I'm not buying it.
Wow. Oh. Have you worked with the new?
Not yet.
No. Oh, he also asked, why you guys don't have build custom 5-star demo car?
I mean, the idea behind the lab was to have a functioning car all the time. The problem is that we just haven't had the time.
Yeah.
I mean, reality is we work 6 days a week. It's just...
Yeah. I mean, not demo for customers.
We're trying, man.
But
we're trying.
it just... Yeah.
It's very frustrating for us. This topic is something that really kind of is very frustrating on our end, too.
So, Fernando, don't be so sad.
Yeah. So for your Tacoma, start with the radio. The radio is the most important thing. I'm not a fan of that factory radio in that car. It's easy enough to change that one out. I think we've done it a dozen times in videos, I think, at this point. Start there. Get a nice new radio, something, with a good preamp section, and then work your way out from there. Get new speakers, new amplifiers. I mean, you could easily do the whole system with a 5-channel amplifier if you wanted. A lot of the times in that one we put a single sub, an L7T10 from Kicker, fits behind the passenger side of the car with minimal modifications, so you can keep it as factory looking as you want. But yeah, 6x9s up front, you do either a set of components or a set of 6x9 middler and a 6x9, so there's a lot you can do.
Alright, I have a double ding Kenwood that not has Bluetooth. Oh, really?
Yeah, it's possible.
But sounds amazing. What could I do to make it Bluetooth?
So is there an aux jack on it? If it has an aux jack, you can easily buy several different Bluetooth dongles. Audio Control makes the AX-BT1, which is a add-on Bluetooth dongle for any aux jack input or RCA input. So if the unit has any form of aux jack,
that's pretty cool.
Rock on, just add that to it and you'll have Bluetooth.
Oh, that was good. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean.
Yeah.
Okay, hold on. Demo car should be Paul's responsibility. He's the equipment seller. So the problem with that is he doesn't really take care of his cars all that well. So
no, I think he meant like.
Oh, like give us the equipment to put in there?
Buying a car and just.
Yeah, we have no place to put it.
Yeah, we don't have.
Yeah, I mean, where would we put it?
It's like customer car or the demo car.
I don't really like T2 tweeters, but mids are awesome. If you don't like the T2 tweeters, think about possibly buying a set of T1 tweeters. The difference between T1 and T2, though the mid bass are very different, the tweeters on a T1 is a silk soft dome. On the T2 is that loud tweeter that they have. So you're 100% correct. That mid bass on the T2 is phenomenal. However, that tweeter, which is why we sell it, is like, yeah. So if you like something a little less, yeah, think about buying a set of T1 tweeters. That'll mellow that thing out and keep that nice big mid bass in there and allow you to keep your Rockford.
All right, looking for advice on using amplifier as a line driver versus the traditional low-level unit like a Matrix Plus. What wattage amplifier will be sufficient to pass the signal to the other tanks?
It really just depends on the amplifiers that you're going to be using after the fact. I mean, the Matrix was designed to do exactly what you're talking about. It's a line driver, which is an amplifier that gets put in line that doesn't go crazy. So, I mean, that's kind of the piece for what you're trying to do. However, the only other time you do something like that is if you have a Kicker key or possibly the JBL DSP that is like a 25 watt or lower, or something that has a really good gain control on it, so you can motor it down to 25, 30 watts of power. But that's really the only reason you do that. Running an amplifier to an amplifier without a purposeful amplifier, I don't know anyone that would do that. It doesn't make a lot of sense. I mean, just go with a DSP. Most DSPs have line drivers built into them also, so then you could actually benefit from this thing that you're trying to do. Unless you're just trying to get something really hot output for SPL world, in which case then any amplifier will do, as long as the amplifiers you're going to put in front of that have the input, can take that amount of voltage. Most amplifiers, not all, will only take 10 volts of input. So if you go over that 10 volts, you just blow the preamp section. So,
all right, what crossover point will you use temporarily, setting until I get my fully tuned system?
I mean, it really just depends on what kind of speaker you're putting on. I mean, if you're looking at like a factory speaker and it's a crappy factory speaker, I would probably somewhere between 110 and 120. But if it's a nice factory speaker, like a branded, I would still go for that 80 hertz. I mean, it's still capable of playing to 80 hertz. It's just the volume you want to play it at. If you're going to be playing at like crazy volume, then obviously crossing over high will allow you to put more power to those speakers by limiting their movement. If it's a better speaker from the factory, you can still adjust those crossover points down. It's just up to that. I hope that answers that question.
All right. 2014 Jeep Wrangler Unlimited Sahara with an Alpine system and a subwoofer. Already removed the deck, replaced with the Pioneer DMH55 NEX, still using the factory amplifier for now. What speakers do you recommend? I'm planning on upgrading the amplifier to the audio control mini amps later. What speakers will work with this setup?
You lost me somewhere in the middle of that conversation. Do you have
All right, so what kind of speakers do you recommend for a 2014 Jeep Wrangler? That was his plan, the ACM amplifiers.
2014 Jeep Wrangler.
What speakers will you put in there?
So a lot of the times we do the Rockford T2s because Jeeps are loud and they need that really amazingly bright speaker. We've also started using the Morel Maximus component set for those because they also have, they're just very dynamic and loud, and both of those will work with that amount of power. Yeah, I'm gonna go with those two right now. Those are the two. You lost me at hello. Have to go. Have a great week. You too, Mark. Have you had any issues with the Nav TV Zen piece for the Ford F-150 Super Snake with piece waking up the amplifier for no reason? No. Not having a problem, that's just what it does. It's not that it's no reason, it's actually, there is a reason for it. Here's the problem that you run into with Ford or any of these other pieces that rely on data to do things. What happens is, you have a light now. You have a light that shows you that your data bus is working. That's there so that we know the data bus is working. The problem is your factory system doesn't have a light. It turns on and off constantly, but there's no light to tell us that it's turning on and off. So it's not the Zen piece waking up, it's the car that's waking up. The Zen is going, I'm supposed to wake up now, and then it goes back to sleep because the car told it to go back to sleep. So it's not the piece causing the issue, it's the car doing something that the Zen is just reacting to. It's a reactive piece. It doesn't wake the car up. It doesn't work the other way. And yes, they turn on and off constantly. These new cars, that's what they do. The slightest thing, you walking by with the keys in your pocket will wake that car up because it has proximity sensing and it knows when you're walking by and it's waiting for you to press the little button or touch the keypad. So there's a lot of things that, dude, if the key is too close to the car where you set it in the house and it all of a sudden gets in range, it'll wake the car up. There's a lot of weird things that can happen to the car with the Zen A to B, but the Zen A to B has the light and it's showing you now. So it's always done these things. You just never saw it because you had nothing attached to it.
Yeah.
But yes, it can drive you crazy. And for the first couple times we did it, it drove us literally crazy too. But it's okay. It'll work fine. For the Jeep with the for the Jeep, the new Hertz Marine DSP sounds like a good option. It seems to be a Audison Forza 8-to-1 and a Marine shell. There's also a dual zone feature built into that too, which I think is where the weird part comes in. I haven't had a chance to play with that yet. I was talking with the new guy, McNulty, that is doing that, and he was going to dig into that whole dual zone, because in the boat, it is very much a Forza, but it uses different software than the Forza. So I don't know how the dual zone is going to affect it in a car, because it's not made for that. But if it's like something that can be like negated, then totally makes sense.
Dean, there may be an update for the nav TV.
Yes, there may be an update for the nav TV, depending on when you got it. I know the one that we did 2 months ago, a month ago, we noticed that it wasn't waking up and going to sleep as frequently as it had in the past. We hadn't been able to verify if there was an update because we hadn't looked, or if it was just the result of the 2021 acting a tad differently than that. But yes, always check for updates to see if there is a newer version of the software for it.
POC TR4. Does the blue wire, remote wire, needs to be connected to the main remote wire from the head unit, or do you hook it up the power and ground and the speaker level wire, then use the blue remote wire as a second remote wire?
Hold on. Let me get this.
I think you hook it up to the blue wire, no? On the radio?
Well, you know, we ordered all those the other day, and they sent me Volt 3.9s instead of TR4s.
Oh, really?
So we have like 20 Volt 3.9s.
Oh, that's good.
And very few TR4s. Alright, so, hold on. We did do a really cool video on this. Alright, so the blue's the trigger output. So blue's your remote turn on output. Green is your low trigger from the speaker. Black is 12 volts, and yellow is constant 12 volts or accessory. It doesn't matter which one. But yeah, that's it. So blue is the output, and it's a 2 amp output. So if you're going to be turning on more than, let's say, 2 amps tops, you're going to need a relay.
So yellow goes to
constant 12 volts or accessory. That's your main power in.
Your
Ground. Speaker trigger. Or low voltage trigger.
Okay.
Usually a positive speaker wire. And that goes out to the remote to turn on the amplifier.
Okay.
I was looking for amplifier delay to stop it. All
right, so for this one,
that one's not going to do a delay.
He has four amplifiers.
You're going to need a relay.
Yeah.
You're going to need a relay for sure. TR12 for the win. The problem is the TR12 has been discontinued. They don't make the TR12 anymore. However, Metra makes the piece called a trigger. Spelled trigger. It's literally called a trigger, and it is very similar to the TR12. So you may want to look at getting the Metra trigger. What's up, Hi-Fi, by the way? How are you doing? Yeah. This week's video for SideJag is going to be Tenant. So for those of you that have not caught SideJag yet, it is the new channel that Hi-Fi Vega and I are doing. Last week we had special guest Mr. Jeff Smith and reviewed the Britney Spears documentary. This week we'll be reviewing Tenet, and we will have Mr. Hi-Fi Vega's son on to review it with us. Pretty excited to have that. I mean, I would just watch it to meet his son, to be honest with you. I mean, why not? It is on 9:45 on Thursday nights, so it's 9:45 to 10:45. It comes on right after Reverse Polarity on the new channel. So definitely check that out. Yep, the access trigger. That's it.
That's right.
That will allow you to do delays and fun stuff like that. And with that, guys, that takes us to the hour. Unbelievable. This went by so fast. Let's head over to the laptop for a second. DNF Tool Drawer is a place you can go to find all the cool tools that we use. That's right, dnftooldrawer.com is where they're at. You can if you want cool swag, head over to teesprings.com/5/store/5-star, or just search for 5-Star Car Stereo on Teespring, or now referred to as just Spring. We have all our t-shirts and paraphernalia located there. We'd like to thank Audio Control for sponsoring this week's show. For those of you that would like to, oh, hey, it's Spotlight. No. All right. For those of you that are interested in Audio Control electronics, you can head over to Audio Control at audiocontrol.com or www.audiocontrol.com. Easy enough there. Go back to the main. And that's it, guys. That's all. That's the show. Did we hit everything? Did we hit all the T's? Did we get all the stuff done? Did we do everything we need to?
Don't forget, guys, tomorrow on
tomorrow.
YouTube, 6:30.
6:30 Eastern Standard Time.
Yep.
Tune in. We'll have Mr. Seth Hostetter. We talk about dash cams.
Yes.
You guys have a wonderful night as always. We'll see you later next time.
Bye.